Welcome. My name is Comrade Cutiepie, and today we are going to be talking about anarcho-primitivism, as I'll be discussing this with a self-described anarcho-primitivist, Radical Dimes. This is an edited video and should not be considered the full context or conversation we had that day. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you.
I see primitivism as more of like a lifestyle rather than it being a set ideology, because it's really just a practice.
I don't know if it would be a practice per se, because I feel like anarcho-primitivism isn't necessarily on an individual scale. It's more like something they'd like to see applied to the rest of society.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's to me at least. That's what any ideology is something that you believe that you would like to be applied to the rest of society in some way.
Perhaps it could be a bit of both. It just depends on what you're like trying to frame it as, I guess.
Mm.
But
well, I'll put it like this. So, in this current circumstance, right? If you were given the choice between making the entire world anarcho-primitivist, and it's going to be against some people's will, probably majority of people's will, or like going off into the forest and then living on your own in an anarcho-primitivist way, what's your choice?
I'd say there would be a lot of unethical and ethical thought processes if I were to choose, like, if globalized primitivism, I guess. But I just I don't know. I'd probably just do my own thing, to be honest.
Okay, and I would say that you're not necessarily a anarcho-primitivist then.
Why is that?
Because you're not willing to put your ideology upon others.
Well, yes, I am. I don't see any hope in trying. Like, most of us are very dependent on technology. That's why I'm trying to get at. Like, it's not that I'm not willing to do it. That's organized.
So, what would be a number, I guess, of the population that you would need to go through with that? Like, just a majority, 51%, or
let's say 3.2 billion. Yeah.
Okay, so you'd need like at least like 45% of the population.
Yeah.
So what happens if the other 55% of the population doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, that's where I'm like.
So you have like an anarcho-primitivist vanguard state of guys with sticks and stones.
Yeah, I hear you. We're gonna hypothetically, right? Bash their schools with rocks, yeah. And Minecraft, of course, but to be honest, like, I'm not quite sure. Like, it's not that I know the answer. It's just y'all probably won't like the answer, right? But
well, if you know the answer, then give it to me. Give me the answer.
I mean, I understand why they would be opposed to it. I wouldn't just be like, oh, they're just counter-revolutionaries and just like, off them. Like they clearly like feel like they need it, right? And in some ways that may be the case. I will acknowledge that, but like most people just really don't need it.
Yeah, so like, all right, so you want the whole world to be anarcho-primitivist, right?
Maybe, yeah.
But you don't really want to like make that happen.
Well, I just don't see it happening.
Okay. Why don't you see it happening?
Because everyone's so dependent on technology. That's why I'm just trying to do my own thing. Where I'm
that's where I would say that you're not an anarcho-primitivist. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, there's communists that say like, oh, like they could be hopeless a bit. I know this seems not analogous, right? But like it's in a way where it's like, oh, this may or may not happen, but I'm still going to do it anyways. But actually, no, that shouldn't be analogous in any way.
I'll put it like this: like if there was somebody that called themselves a communist, right?
Right.
And I asked them, okay, what do you want world communism is? And then they said, yeah, maybe I'd be more interested in just going off and doing my own thing with a couple of friends, right? Then you're not a communist. You know what I mean? I feel like just because you want to get away from capitalism doesn't make you a communist, and just because you want to get away from technology, it doesn't make you an anarcho-primitivist. You know what I mean?
I mean, sure, but I do most certainly align with like the beliefs, though, in that sense, though. Like maybe not initiative, but it is like I resonate with the takes, though.
Okay, so like, what do you resonate with?
Like how like technology is bad for the environment. Like it doesn't matter how good the intentions are, right? There's always consequences that come with it. And how
there's intentions behind any action. You know what I mean? Like any invention, any action. Like there's an intention behind making an axe out of stone and then cutting down a tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like when I say technology, I'm referring to like the stuff that has been manufactured, by like organized systems, right? So basically, let's imagine like we're in primitive society, right? And like there's like stationary like workspaces that everyone can go to around the world, right?
Mhm.
to like let's say you're really struggling with making like I don't know like a hammer, and there's like maybe like a makeshift I don't know what is it like you can like sharpen I guess like the or not sharpen I don't know the axe. Okay, yeah, you can sharpen axes or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to throw stuff out there.
like if they had a grinder, so you could
Yeah,
sharpen
yeah,
an axe. So like where you draw the line, you know what I mean?
the
Like
line is drawn whenever there's systems providing those things.
what do you mean by like systems providing those things, like
So like
governance, like
yes, yes,
industry?
yes.
Okay.
Like I think we are capable of doing it ourselves, most of us at least. And I'm not opposed to communalism either or other community. So like, I don't even understand what the argument is necessarily. Like whenever they're saying like ableist, when they're assuming my position, where they're all like, "Oh, what about or what about disabled people or whatever?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, but I think it's like, they're not necessarily guaranteed a support system. If
Maybe,
there's
yeah,
no
but
governance,
like it really
like you would
depends.
essentially be telling a bunch of people, right? And I'm not saying that that you are, right, per se.
It could be,
But it
like
would
it
be
really
like saying
depends.
to like disabled people that they need to find a community, and a community needs to like take care of them in order for them to survive. Like that person has to essentially like be warded over by a community or another person, if you know what I mean, in order to live. But like they can get assistance if they really need it, right? Like a person that's disabled and can't like really walk, can't do a whole lot of things, can they? Right? Or
Yeah,
somebody who's
yeah,
disabled
yeah.
from the neck down can't really do anything. Like they can do they can do plenty of jobs with our current technology, right? But like in an
Yeah.
anarcho-primitivist society, right? Like there's no
Yeah.
desk job for them to do. Like they have to build something, forage for something, farm. Like they can't do anything really beyond that. Know what I mean?
I
And
mean,
somebody who's disabled from the neck down can't do that. Know what I mean?
I'm sure there's some tasks that they can do, like let's say there's someone with no arms, right? And what is that practice that some indigenous tribes do? It's basically you're stomping on like fruit or whatever, right? Not that to make it their whole existence, right? But like you know what I mean? Like they can do things, and let's say there's a person with just arms, maybe they can be like I don't know, like some sort of blacksmith or something. I don't know, but like I do acknowledge that there's some like hindrance, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, but I do think that we can all contribute, no matter what our disabilities are. But it really depends, though. I don't know.
I think that sort of I guess is sort of like the problem, if you know what I mean, is that, like if it depends, then there's no guarantee that they'll be alive. So like
Well, if we're talking
that's
about like,
I think that's where they say like it's ableist, because like you're not guaranteeing that they'll be alive. You're kind of being like, well, figure it out. Know what I mean?
no, when I say it depends, like, like I was saying that in regards to what kind of disabilities you hold, but not in a way where they would be disregarded or just, like cast away from society, though. Like, you know what I mean? Or I'd hope at least.
Yeah, but I
But
mean they could be cast out from society though. Know what I mean?
yeah,
Or
well, but
when there's a drought, or they're not able to have too much food or whatever, right? Or rather they're not making enough. It's not growing enough, right? Then they're going to feed the people who can do stuff. They're like, know what I mean? Like they're not going to feed somebody who's disabled. So like that's not that's not a guarantee that they'll be okay. You know what I mean?
I can't, I can't speak on everyone's half. You know what I mean? Like it's not a collectivist or like at least on a global scale kind of like collectivist thing, you know what I mean? I would personally help them out, right? But like I can't speak on everyone that aligns with this ideology.
But I guess so. Like, I don't know. It's like I'm trying to understand it, but it like to me it seems like it like literally can't work. No, like it like literally cannot happen. You know what I mean?
I
Because
mean,
like given enough time, it'll like even if we were to like magically, I guess, like bring ourselves to anarcho-primitivism, right? And there was literally no technology, right? Like we didn't even know how to make axes, right? When I feel like that would just bring us, like given enough time, right back to where we are right now.
right. And I think there should be I don't think it should be society should be planned, right? Necessarily cuz like I don't know. But anyways, it's like it just seems like there should be like everyone should be prepared a bit beforehand, you know what I mean? Like just so that way we're equipped with the skills.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with people being like having more skills just in case shit falls apart, right? But I wouldn't like because of me thinking that I wouldn't like be like, well, everybody has to, because we are going to be the ones that take it down, or if it goes down, know what I mean, we're gonna keep it that way on purpose. Know what I mean? Because obviously I want the environment to be fine, right? But like the thing about that for me at least is like I don't care about the environment if like everyone's dead, or if it like if it costs like I don't know, I might be insensitive, but like I feel like I'm human first, if you know what I mean. Like I want humans to be alive more than I want like a gecko to be alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I just think like we're deprived when it comes to systems.
What do you mean?
Like we don't have any actual real goals. Like for some, they may think it is, but like I'm talking about for your common Joe, right? In America, at least, like it's just opportunities that were granted by the system. They're basically only happening because of these systems. Like if there was no system like capitalism, let's say, we wouldn't be like or like let's say there would be no other system other than capitalism, which is not true, right? Um, then if capitalism were abolished, then we would actually have our own goals, like not where it's like, oh, I might worry about like whether I am gonna like survive a day because I don't have enough food or money to buy food. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's a goal right there. Like,
Wouldn't,
and it's
wouldn't
an
that be
everyday
like
goal.
something that would be like replicated in an anarcho-primitivist society where you would have to like find your own food and it would actually be like less available to you?
Yeah, but that would be your own goal though, and it might be
Wouldn't
the
it
case.
still
It
be
really
your own
depends on the
goal? Like, isn't it still your own goal in
circumstances.
capitalism though? Like if in anarcho-primitivism, right, you need to go and like hunt and fish and forage to get food, right?
Yeah, but like it's not
You're
being
putting labor into those actions in order to get an outcome, which would be food and water or whatever, right? In a capitalist
yeah,
system or even a communist system or a socialist system, wouldn't you be putting labor into that? And like specifically a capitalist system, I guess, right?
but
Wouldn't
the
you be putting your
difference.
time and labor into, getting a resource that you would then be able to trade for food and water and fish and whatever, right? Like, wouldn't that essentially be the same outcome?
Those would be the same outcome. The only difference, however, is they're being influenced by the system, though.
What do
Like
you mean by that?
this isn't natural. Like, I don't
I mean,
know.
in that circumstance, it seems very natural that you'd have to work to get food. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
it
that
most
you'd,
certainly is the norm, but it wasn't the norm before then.
what do you mean?
So like thousands of years ago, right? Like we
Hmm.
didn't weren't like trying to buy like, oh, like I need like money or like I don't know rocks or some shit like to buy me like I don't know like fish, I guess.
Hmm. But wouldn't you
You know
need
what I
some
mean?
sort of object to trade with somebody else who did have
Yeah,
fish?
yeah, yeah, like that kind of notion.
Yeah. I mean, like, to me, it doesn't seem particularly different because, like, if you wanted something that you weren't able to get on your own, right? In this system that I guess you would be proposing, right? You would either have to steal it or trade for it, right? Or I guess nicely ask them for it, which could, happen in a capitalist system. You could steal it, you could ask them nicely for it, or you could, trade for it. I feel like the difference is in a capitalist system in this circumstance, right? You're saying, or not you're saying, but in this circumstance, the only difference really is that you're using like a middleman exchange currency to get that thing, right? But in an anarcho-primitivist society, you're not. You're just using the one of the end products of your labor. But like the dollar is still an end product of your labor theoretically too, right?
Not quite sure what you just said, but
Okay. So I'm saying like I don't see any difference between you having to trade with somebody in an anarcho-primitivist society to get an object that you want, right? And you having to trade with a capitalist or somebody who owns a product that you want in a capitalist system to get an object you want. Like the only difference I see is that in our current system we have currency, and in your proposed system we don't. You know what I mean?
I think so. So
So
like
like, I guess I'm trying to like say that like to me at least it doesn't seem as different as you think it is between an anarcho-primitive society and a capitalist one, where you are being like your goals and actions are determined by what you need. Like in a capitalist system, let's say you're hungry, right? You need to get food, and you can already go outside and forage and try to hunt, right? It'll probably be illegal, but you can do that, right? And you can work for somebody else in a company and get paid and then purchase food, right? Or you can steal it, right?
I
In an
mean,
anarcho-primitivist society, you would have to, if you need food, you would have to go hunt and forage for it, or trade something you have for somebody else's food. You know what I mean? Like I think it's the same need, and it's not different. If you know what I mean?
well, couldn't trade happen under a communist society too, or
Yeah, it could.
all right, but like I guess like it seems like it's aligned with capitalists kind of, but I see it as like a mix kind of. You know what I mean? But not exactly. It seems to be more aligned with uh capitalist notions, I guess. But like I wouldn't blame someone wanting to steal either. I wouldn't say it would be
Mhm.
justified, right? And I'd say most communists are kind of like that, kind of though. It depends on what the circumstances though are, but like let's say it was a large corporation, right? Most would be like, oh yeah, they're based, like you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
But
Or you could say, maybe it's a big authoritarian tribe or whatever that has
Yeah,
has like a great con leader that is rolling through the countryside stealing everybody's shit. Like,
yeah. So
which I
mostly
don't
over
see
here.
any protections against exactly that in anarcho-primitivism. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
there's
I can
not
see
like
it being extremely easy for somebody to just reestablish some form of feudalism
right,
or
right, right.
some form of capitalism within anarcho-primitivism, just with less technology, right? Like this person could theoretically have a group of individuals that they pay in food, right,
Sure,
to
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
protect them and lord over this area full of resources, right? And then they pay the people that are under them that are working on those resources and getting fish and mining rocks or whatever and cutting down trees, right? They could create a system that is basically identical to a corporation just with less technology, right?
I mean, sure, right, but like, now I don't think most people like me, I guess, would let that slide. Most, at
How so?
least, because like me personally, like I wouldn't be in favor of that, especially
Mhm.
if they're trying to like rebuild civilization, right?
Yeah, but
Um,
like we were all the thing is like we were already, I suppose, like an anarcho-primitivist society. You know what I mean? And here we are, not an anarcho-primitivist society. So obviously, to me at least, individuals like you, right, that wouldn't be in favor of that happening, failed, and here we are. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
and but
So I
like
don't,
to
I just see like the precedent already that you know capitalism and feudalism and Schmiticide and all sorts of shit like that happened, and the people that weren't in favor of it, they happened to fail, and that's nothing like against you, but it just seems like it didn't work. You know what I mean? So
you know,
if it didn't work for them and we're largely the same people, I don't see how it would work for us to just be like, well, you shouldn't steal and get a group of your best friends with sticks to go beat up everybody and take their stuff. You know what I mean? Like I feel like your opinion that like they shouldn't take your stuff doesn't matter if they have more people and more sticks to beat you with. You know what I mean?
yeah. I was gonna touch on that actually, on how like the proper way to probably like there's no supporting systems really unless you have like I don't know like a tribe I guess like your homies I guess like you know what I mean like and you just go like oh we're gonna find this person that stole the food or some shit like and
Mhm,
we're gonna bash his school right and take back what was ours
mhm.
but that
So
would
so
be the
you take it
proper
back, and then
approach.
they say, well, they stole from us, and then they go smash your head in or whatever. Or maybe
Yeah,
maybe your group of people get rid of you because you don't want to go do what those people did to you beforehand, right? And then
maybe.
that group of people go and do that to other groups of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they go, well, we just got our stuff back, and that was so easy. Let's do that again. There's a group of three people over here. Like I
um,
understand wanting to help the environment by having less things to destroy, I suppose, with like gasoline and fossil fuels and shit like that, right? But like, I think there's other ways of doing that than trying to press like the reset button, which I think would end up killing more people than it would if we just like transitioned to nuclear. You know what I mean? Like, or develop some other technology or something like that. You know what I mean?
I'm still insistent on trying to do my own thing though. Like I
Yeah, I
said,
mean
I seem to be more
that's okay.
aligned with like the beliefs. Like I hold a lot of there. I think there's a lot of truth to it. I just wouldn't take initiative.
But I guess like my second question,
All
um,
right.
why the drop back, I guess, from anarcho-communism to anarcho-primitivism and like the rejection of like communism? Why do you hold that to be true?
I mean, I'm not necessarily anti-communist, but I read a bit of Ted Kaczynski and John Zerzan.
Mhm. So what did they say that changed your mind?
Yeah, all I remember is like the bad things he really bad things he said about them. But
Mhm.
I'm like the
Do
ones
you
that
think
stick
that the
out
bad
to me.
things are accurate?
Not always. Like I like whenever I speak to y'all, like as y'all identify as communists, I don't think y'all are power hungry. But like people historically that have been aligned with communist ideologies and that were positions of power, right? Were mostly like I would say in some ways power hungry.
Mhm.
Regardless of whether they acknowledge it then or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
So
what would be those examples?
um I'd say like Fidel Castro probably.
Okay,
Uh Maybe Che Guevara, but I'm not too
okay.
educated on him to be honest.
So I guess like would even we'll grant, I suppose we'll try to just say that yes, I disagree personally that they were power hungry, but let's just say that like they were, right?
hmm
Did that give the Cuban people bad or good results?
I mean, and I'm sure it did in some ways and not. You know what I mean? Like, but like all
Well,
I'm
like did they
saying
give
is
them
that
better or worse results
I
than
think there
before
was
those
better
individuals?
results,
Okay.
but like it could be way more better. I don't know. Maybe like try to kill off the gay people. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
or like yeah, but I don't know. Like it just seems like I don't really have any direct examples under the like intuition, you know what I mean? Where it's
Mm.
like they probably had to do stuff to like get into that position. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and regardless of whether it was for the cause or not, it was like maybe bad, but like people would justify it. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah. Like I guess it's like to me, it's less important whether they were power hungry than it is that they gave good results.
Yeah, obviously their
You know what I mean?
impact was very meaningful, right? I'm just saying like they were like in some ways power hungry, and it's not like this like oh they were like power hungry dictators or whatever. Like there's different. Ted Kaczynski calls it like the power structure or whatever, or like
Mhm,
or something like that. And there's like four types I think,
mhm.
and I can't quite remember. I'd have to refresh my mind on that or something like that. But yeah, I don't think like if I were to tell you to read it, I don't think you're gonna be like, oh, I'm anti-leftist or whatever. But like,
I
you
mean, I'll be
certainly
honest. I've read like bits of it, and whenever I do, I think he's kind of stupid.
no, for real though. He's like a conservative, unironically, but like just without the capitalism.
I mean, I feel like he's definitely perfectly okay with capitalism.
Maybe to a certain degree,
Because
but I'm not
like in an
super.
anarcho-primitivist society, there's nothing stopping you from creating a business.
Yeah, but like mm, like I hear you, but like it just doesn't seem like that based because I've actually read the entire thing.
Well, it's just
um,
like there isn't anything stopping capitalist businesses from popping up because like in
well,
anarcho-primitivist society in the past, right? That's literally what happened. You know what I mean? Like we have capitalism right now because of their failure to avoid it happening. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I hear that. Like I'm saying, like you know how I was saying about people like me, I guess, would try to be like those like oh that's heresy or whatever and smash like a camera or some shit like you know what I mean like
Yeah.
um um so like as long as people like that like in large amounts like me I guess would stick around in this said primitive society right uh I think it would be in like giving humanity that second chance right
Mhm.
but like if there's not that much of us around it may or may not happen but like I can't tell you for certain you probably think that it'll go back to slavish existence systems or whatever. And I
I
don't
mean,
blame
I
you.
don't see how it wouldn't, right? Because like we can understand that the primary goal of life, right, from like a more objective circumstance is to like stay alive and make more of you, right?
Sure, yeah.
So like technology allows you to stay alive and to make more of you. You know what I mean? Like agricultural
Yeah.
industrialization allows you and your family to stay alive because you have more food, and it allows you to feed more mouths, so you can create more mouths. You know what I mean? Like you are able
Yeah.
to create more of you, and you are able to be alive longer. So like I
But
don't
like the
see how you would be able to like work around that like basic function of like life. You know what I mean? To avoid the like recreation of those technologies.
yeah, all I'm saying is that like with that comes like less appreciation. Like I feel like we in general like have became a bit like at least in the US like it's instant gratification, right? You know what I mean? Like I
But
don't know.
wouldn't that be like more of an aspect of like capitalist consumerism than it would be an aspect of just technology? Because
Mm,
otherwise, like capitalism pretty much permeates the entire world, right? Like that would exist in other countries as well, like across the board.
could
So
be,
like in
but
countries where there's less capitalism, it happens. They're not as interested in instant gratification, are they?
maybe, yeah. Uh do you know what those countries are? I'm not trying to be like picky or whatever. Like I'm just
Yeah, I
asking.
mean, you would be able to look at pretty much most of the socialist countries. Like you could look at China, where they when like especially with their version of TikTok, right? They incentivize more educational content over dancing furries. You know what I mean? Or like Cuba or Vietnam, and I suppose you could look even at the more rural areas, right? Which would be closer to anarcho-primitivism for you.
Yeah, I just don't think they would be welcoming, especially if we're talking about the Amazon forest. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just like I don't want to go down in history like that. Like as
Like
my
what?
parents are trying to get by and all that, and I don't want to give them a bad name. Like like imagine like oh you're that family that like your son like
Your son
sent like bombs to
is Ted
like
Kennedy number two.
mailboxes. Part two. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like if you don't want that, then again, like why are you an anarcho-primitivist? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't see myself aligning with any other ideology other than like I guess in that regards, but
Why would you align with anarcho-primitivism more than communism then?
because I don't like I'm not trying to pursue the movement anymore. I guess like
Okay.
I just hold no hope
Why not?
because like I feel like I get let down all the time, and
So you chose to be an anarcho-primitivist to get let down even more? Like, what's the logic there?
Like, I know. It's not that. Hold up. It's not that I don't have empathy. It's just it's taken a lot of spoons on me, like my mental health, and I just need to be focusing on me right now, I guess. But yeah.
But I don't think that you need to like be actively promoting something to be in support of it, right? And I understand that you can be in support of anarcho-primitivism, right? But like when you support something, it's with the hope that maybe it happens, right?
Maybe.
But, like, it seems like you understand that like anarcho-primitivism like can't happen, and even if it does, it'll undo itself. You know what I mean?
It might, but like,
But, like I guess like again like what's the I'm just trying to like really understand this, right? Like what is your disagreement with communism? You know what I mean? Like where's the disagreement lie that you would say that you're not that anymore?
I think like it's not that I disagree with it. It's more so like, oh, like I just don't align with it, kind of like in regards to like I drifted away from it, but not that I'm opposed to it, kind of notion where it's like it sounds good. I like, and not even that bullshit take where it's like, oh, it sounds good on paper or whatever. Like, but like, I don't know. Like, it just like, I just don't think that I have any hope in that.
I'll put it like, is it like you don't believe that you would be able to get to communism in a way that you find ethical?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's that? Because I think that's more important to me than why you would disagree. You know what I mean? Because like I think that's a primary thing that a lot of anarchists have problem with is like the prospect of Stalin or the vanguard state, the Marxist-Leninists. You know what I mean? It's like where's the gripe that you have, I guess, with like feeling like you can't achieve it in an ethical manner?
So it's like not even like the part where it's like, oh, we're bringing the guillotines or shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the
just more concerned about the environment. Like, like I don't know. I think if there should be communism, we should be reducing greatly the resources that we use on this planet. Like there should be drastic, like if technology were to continue, right, there should be most certainly a drastic change in how we use technology and the resources that we use. Yes. But yeah.
So I guess like what do you mean by drastic?
Like a metric or
like what do you mean by drastic? Like, so like really cutting down on like all of our use of resources like completely? Because all resources that we use, right, are from the earth. You know what I mean? Like we're not getting resources from asteroids, right?
If I were to make a compromise, I guess like it would be like just be good at like reusing items, I guess, like and actually doing it, not like where it's
so like sustainability.
Yeah, like
okay. So like where does that come in conflict with like communism or socialism? Like you could say that you're an eco-socialist or whatever, right? Like where's the
maybe, but I still don't think I don't have the spoons for it anymore. Like I just don't.
Why don't you have the spoons for that, but you have the spoons for like anarcho-primitivism? I'm not trying to like be on your ass, but
like it's just my individual self. You know what I mean? Like I said, I align with the ideology because like I don't know what else to align with. I guess I'm not like other primitivists, but I would say primitivism is pretty kind of abstract, but not really. It matter. What depends is like the approach, I guess. But like I still think you're a primitivist, nevertheless. It just depends. What matters is the fundamental understanding, I think. But then again, like anyone else can call themselves that and not like actually try to do something with their lives in that regards. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That's like a liberal calling themselves like a leftist, I guess, and not actually doing anything.
Yeah.
But like I actually intend on doing something.
I thought you said you didn't. You know what I mean?
No, not like not like that. I mean like just doing my own thing. Like going out into the wilderness whenever I'm like at my prime, but like retirement age. You know what I mean?
Okay. So like, can't you support communism and then when you're in retirement, go with a bunch of friends into the forest?
Maybe. Like I said,
it seems like capitalism is more opposed to like is more obvious the contributor in the destruction of the environment than socialist or communism, right?
And it feels like some people, like some communists, like aren't always that in agreement with each other. So it really depends on who you're talking to. But
well, I mean, capitalists are almost entirely in agreement that they'll just do whatever is profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, like in regards to like, what is there to be done in regards to like producing goods or whatever. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
So like I don't know. Let's say like for some reason there's like a co-op, I guess, and they're making
Hmm.
like toys, plastic toys, right?
Hmm.
But like it's in large amounts, I guess, and like it's really popular, and people are just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. I don't know, like you know what I mean, like
So I
and
guess like why not have a law created, right, by a socialist nation, like a socialist state, I suppose, right, to say, hey, you can't use this because it's not sustainable, but you
maybe
can use these other products.
sure.
But I guess like again, just like think about that. Like in a socialist state, we can make that decision and have the entire country, right, the entire country stop doing that, right. But in an anarcho-primitive society, we can't stop or make anybody do literally anything because there's no state apparatus to tell them to do anything. You know what I mean? So they can create their own state apparatus to tell you to do what to do, or to tell you what to do, right?
Yeah,
They can
I guess
create
I
their own
never
state
thought about
apparatus
it
where they
that
want
way.
you to go and get back on the fuel rigs and get them some more oil. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I was like, if I'm being honest, I was severely depressed like a couple of
Mm-hmm.
weeks ago, or like a month ago, and like I was just seeing things black and white, and then
Mm-hmm.
I started reading Ted Kaczynski because of a friend online.
Mm-hmm.
They told me to be like, oh, they're really conservative, but I think you would align with them, kind of. Not exactly, but like
Bro
they're
fell
like
down the right wing pipeline, didn't know it.
they're not a right winger either. That was the funny part, but
Well, I mean, Ted K is a right winger at least. Like
I
that's
don't
what he is.
maybe I don't think he is, but he most
Ted
certainly
K
is
is like
not a
the
leftist,
like
though.
ideologically speaking, Ted K would be the original conservative.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, you're
like
not
people would be
wrong.
like, let's create a feudalist society, right? And they would be considered the left wingers compared to this dude. No, like he would be the no, like he would be the right winger, like the original right winger. Know what I mean? Like we can't do anything that is creating technology or creating a state or government or anything like that. Know what I mean?
Yeah. Um. I most certainly would not consider him a leftist, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely not a leftist because he's a right winger.
Mm,
Are you talking about your friends?
no. I'm talking
Okay.
about the Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he can't. He's definitely not a left winger. He's definitely the right wing.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where he's like, "Oh, I'm socially conservative, but uh,
Also,
physically,
fiscally
physically an
conservative.
anarchist."
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but that's interesting.
but I mean, I don't think it matters whether they like the ideology. At least I don't really matter if like I don't think it matters if he is perfectly fine with like social issues or whatever, right? Like if he's the most left wing social person ever known to man, right?
Right.
Like fundamentally, there are no guarantees for disabled people or for gay people or trans people or anything like that they will be okay in an anarcho primitivist society, right? Like there's no government to guarantee that. There's no state power to guarantee that. So people can be as racist or homophobic or transphobic as they want because there's nothing that stops them from like literally going and finding that person and like unaliving them. You know what I mean? And there's nothing that stops a community from going out and searching for those individuals and getting rid of them. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that stops like a super right wing group or anything like that, right? That
I
there
get
would
what you
be in
mean.
like a state apparatus, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I I I don't like. I understand why you think that's idealistic and just can't happen. Like, but
Do you
yeah.
think I'm wrong though? Like, do you
No,
think I'm
you're most
incorrect?
certainly not wrong.
So if I'm not wrong, then why do you disagree? You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, like, uh, I don't know,
But I mean,
actually.
to me at least, I feel like you have to fundamentally disagree or disagree on some aspect, right? If you still support the ideology that allows that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really don't, like, not saying I don't care about that particular thing you just said. I don't see it happening. Like, I don't know.
Why not?
I'm just trying to do my own thing, like I said.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like, but like, why don't you see that happening?
Oh, because, like,
Like,
everyone's so dependent on technology. It's like, we're conditioned to be this certain way.
now because I'm trying to engage with you on the ideology almost 100%, right?
Right
And
on.
not bring into it like I guess personal things, right?
Yeah.
But do you think that it's possible that you have sort of identified with the ideology, I suppose, because of both its aesthetics, right? Like it seems cool, right? Um, and because of some other personal things that you might be going through, rather than
Well,
like a more, I guess, like purely logical look at it. You know what I mean?
not so much because it looks cool. It's more of like I think I would actually be happy if I just lived in just simpler times.
Why is that?
Because like I'm not happy now.
Why do you think that you would be happier in the past than in the future? You know what I mean? Like, why do you think that you'd be less happy in a society where we've essentially abolished having to work because of automation with technology? Or do you think that like you would be happier in an anarcho-primitivist society because you would actually have to like work more than you do now?
So it's like I understand that things make it easier for us, right? But that's the problem, though, for me at least, where it's like we have instant gratification, and like it could be in any way. Like it could be like I don't know, like food or whatever, or like I know food should be like in y'all's eyes, like oh free for all, like you know what I mean. But like let's say it wasn't food, and somehow there's like infinite food, or like you know what I mean, like the materialistic things, I guess, like there's not like what happens when you have it all, like you know what I mean, like it just seems like there's not much point to life when you have it all. And me, I don't have it all, but it feels like I do. And it's minimalistic. I'm minimalistic in that sense, right? I have what I want, kinda, but like I just feel blank now. Like I don't
So,
have any actual goals.
so you think that you'd have goals in an anarcho-primitivist society?
Yes, and I think I
What
would be
goals
more
do you think you would
appreciative.
like? What goals do you think you would have? You know what I mean? That would be different
Survive.
than today. Survive.
Yes, and be truly independent.
Well, you would be dependent on nature, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't
Because
be on the
nothing exists in
system.
a vacuum, right? Like, but do you mean like independent as in like you wouldn't have to worry about like your parents or whatever?
Not too, but like I mean, like by the systems.
Hmm.
Like you're actually free.
What do you mean by
Yeah,
free?
like there's true freedom.
What do you mean by true freedom?
True freedom, as in like you
You
get
do
to do
whatever you
whatever you
want, whenever you want, no
want.
matter what.
uh, not always, but
Then that's not
like
true freedom,
not
is
in a
it?
way where it's like I'm gonna like form a government and be like you can't do that. Like you know what I mean? Like
But wouldn't that be like not true freedom then if you're not able to do whatever you want?
there's always gonna be some where unless like you're like incapable of like having morals, I guess. But like there's always gonna be something that like kind of prevents us. Like it may just be ourselves. But yeah,
Mhm.
age expectancy will definitely drop. I agree.
Then why do you support it if more people are gonna die? Like I don't know. Like
No,
if you know it's
like
gonna like if you know life expectancy is gonna drop, then why do you support that? Like that seems like
because I don't think like
antithetical.
our so like I just see it as like our life now being natural. Like you know what I mean? Like
What's not
we weren't
natural about
meant to be existing this long, and I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying like I don't know. Like people act like it's normal when it wasn't always that way.
well, I guess like you said that like we're not meant to exist this long, but what are we meant to do? You know what I mean? Because and I suppose unless you believe in a greater power, like a god that like demands anarcho-primitivism and for you to live to 35 years as the maximum age, I don't think like we're meant to do anything at all. We're just like meant to do stuff. You know what I mean? Like we are not meant to do anything in particular. You know what I mean? Like we have no like decided or predetermined purpose. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah, I get what you mean. I'm just saying like I'm not even speaking like in regards to that authority if it does exist, but like I'm just saying like a it's, it sounds like I'm losing an argument like in like the 19 like I don't know early 1900s, but I'm not trying to like make that argument. But like it's just not normal.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by like you're like being interested in the aesthetics of things, right? Because like it seems like you're more interested in like the ideal, like how you would see it working, right? Like the aesthetics, how it would look, right? Than you are with the consequences of like that. You know what I mean? Because
Like
like
you don't think I would be
okay, I'm sorry.
oh, I'm
Can you say
sorry.
that one more time?
You don't think I would be comfortable with like dying at like a lower age?
I don't think you would. I
I
think
think I
that
would.
you would want to live as long as possible, so long as you are happy. You know what I mean?
There's an emphasis in Ted Kaczynski's book of like how like a goal could be like having a family, right?
Mhm.
And like how we wouldn't really have that much time to think, like having these existential thoughts, like whether
Mhm.
God exists or whatever, like is there an afterlife, like you know what I mean,
You think that that's
like
like
we would
bad
just
though? To have existential thoughts, like philosophy, and like would that be a part of like no technology, like no philosophy?
we're gonna be the church, right? No, that's heresy. Uh, um, I I don't think it's always bad, but like for me, it was, and I wouldn't want to wish it upon anyone.
What was bad?
Yeah,
Like
my
existential
existentialism.
dread?
Yeah,
Why? Like why do
because
you think it's?
I
Why did you have a bad
almost
experience with it?
because like I was someone that used to be really religious,
Mhm.
and like when I found out when I came to my own conclusion that there is no God, I was like about to end my life, like
Mhm.
because I was like, there's no meaning to life or whatever. But yeah, I'm not
But I mean,
denying
I
that.
think like the meaning of life is whatever you want it to be, right?
Right,
And I
right,
think most
right.
people, because of their biological um, need or want or push or desire, whatever you want to call it, right? To like live
Yeah,
as long as possible and to make as many of you as possible, right? I feel like that is in contradiction to like your ideology, if you know what I mean. Like I think like to me at least the basic thing that you would be able to break down to being like what we're meant to do or what the purpose of life is like the also the foundation of like your rejection. You know, like you reject exactly what you like want. You know what I mean? Like you're rejecting the purpose in life for something else. You know what I mean?
maybe.
Because like technology, right? Like we've already established, I guess, or I would hope that you agree that technology a lot of the time, especially like in agriculture, allows the lengthening of people's lifespans, right?
I
And
think
also
so.
allows people to have more kids, which are fulfilling two of the base biological like instincts, I suppose. That's the word I was looking for.
I guess I am fixated on the aesthetic. But I just don't think I'm a communist anymore, though.
Are you saying that like it wouldn't be like I'll put it like this, like if you're in a room and you had to like describe yourself, right? Like some core aspects to yourself, you just wouldn't like describe yourself as a communist.
Yeah.
But you would describe yourself as an anarcho-primitivist.
Maybe. But it would be like, I'm just trying to do my own thing. Like, y'all do whatever. Like, I might help people that really need it. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm going to be looking out for myself.
Mhm. Which I think is most people.
Yeah, I'm just.
But yeah, it's like Martha said, I think like yeah, it's definitely a very individualistic like stance.
Yeah. And I
Which, to
understand.
be fair, isn't too far off from anarcho-communism, anyways, because all anarchists are individualists.
um, yeah. Um, but I most certainly have ethics, though. Like, I'm not. I folded my parents on, or like, we were having like a discussion, right? And they're like, my sister was at the table too, and they're all like describing a landlord for some reason or whatever, and how uh oh, they're trying to get my sister to be like getting on this landlord shit, right? And I'm like, oh, are y'all talking about leeches? And they're like, no, we're talking about being a landlord, right? And I'm like, oh, those are leeches, like
Uh,
scums of society. Like, what do you mean? Like that's what my sister said, right? And they're all like, I want to be a landlord or whatever. Are you still gonna call me a scum of the society or whatever? I'm like, yeah. Like I have ethics. Like I know what's right and wrong. Like
I feel like though, like your ideology allows for landlords to exist and mine doesn't. You know what I mean? So like I like in that conversation you would be arguing against landlords, right?
mhm.
But your ideology doesn't argue against them at all. You know what I mean? Like
I
your
get what you
ideology isn't
mean.
concerned with landlords whatsoever. Like they're perfectly. It's like again, there's no means of keeping landlords from existing.
I get what you mean. I really do. I don't know what else to say to that. Uh, like you know what I mean. Like you're not wrong. I just like me personally. I don't like those kind of people. But yeah,
What kinds of people? Landlords?
yeah.
Well, I have to ask: are you more concerned with those individuals or with the system that allows it?
I would say the system that allows it.
Then do you support a system that allows it?
I don't know.
But you do.
Oh wait. Do you mean like technicality or like?
Not
Because
technicality,
it wouldn't be
like
necessarily a
in very
system.
literal sense, like anarcho-primitivism allows for landlords. So like if you're concerned with the system that allows it, then why do you support a system that would allow it?
It wouldn't necessarily be a system to begin with, though, would it? Because
Well,
like the
I'll put it.
system,
I suppose it's not a system. Why do you support an absence of system that allows it then? Rather,
I feel like I could say this for other things, but like I don't know. Like, it just seems like a wonky question. Like, you know what I mean? Like what am
Well,
I supposed to say to that? Like you
like,
know?
let's say this. Like, we'll stick with landlords, right? Like, if I say I don't want there to be any landlords, right? But then I say, but I am a landlord enthusiast, and I'm perfectly fine with anybody to have as many houses as they want, and if they want, they can even rent those houses out to other people. Would I actually be not wanting a system of landlords, or would I be like supporting a system that allows landlords?
I'm so confused, to be honest.
I'll try to reframe it. Like, if I say that I don't like landlords, right, but I allow people to have as many houses as they want and to be landlords, do I not like landlords, or do I just not like a landlord?
So wait, you're framing it as if I'm allowing it?
Yeah, because like in my opinion, right, you like anarcho-primitivism allows for landlords to exist, and you said that you don't like any system, and hopefully a lack of system that allows for landlords. So like my question to you is then, why do you support an ideology that would allow landlords to exist?
I don't know.
How do you not? Like, how does
Like,
anarcho-primitivism not allow landlords?
well, it's not that. It's more of people allowing or not allowing that. So like, I can't control everyone. You know what I mean? Like, that's on to them.
Like
But then
why do
if
you allow people to allow landlords then? Is I guess a question as well.
I wouldn't allow that, me personally. Like I'm probably gonna
But
do
how would you be
something
able to
about it.
enforce that? You know what I mean? Like, how are you able to enforce that?
It's more of like, if I see what's going on, I'm gonna do something about it, and I would expect any primitivist to do the same.
I think if you expect people to do something without like, you know, some sort of force behind, then you can't like really expect them to do it. And I mean, like without consequence, like there's no consequence for a anarcho-primitivist to allow landlords to exist if that anarcho-primitivist is themselves a landlord. And
Maybe.
you're also saying that like you wouldn't personally allow it. Like maybe in your community there would be no landlords, right? But you're not like a divine being that is everywhere all at the same time that has all the power to keep people from being landlords. So like the community like 10 miles away, because you have no cars and you'd have to walk there, so you probably wouldn't, right? They could have
Mm,
landlords. Like you can't stop them from having landlords. You're one
yeah.
person. You know what I mean?
Then I guess.
Unless you lead some sort of like anarcho-primitivist crusade against landlords, like you would have to do that like every 5 years, because you'd have to sweep the entire world of landlords. And by the time you get to the other side of the world, that side that you just swept would have developed landlords again, because you'd have to cross thousands and thousands of miles with no technology or car or bicycle or anything. Like you'd have to walk. You know what I mean? It'd be like a 1,000 year long like venture to clear the world of landlords. And by the time you clear the last place of landlords, you'd have landlords again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's where I'm saying like you may not personally like landlords, but like you're supporting an ideology that would, because of its own incompetence, not be able to stop landlords from existing and would allow them to exist.
I mean, you're not wrong. I don't know. Like I'm like, I guess, like, I wouldn't say I'm inconsistent, kind of. Well, clearly I am, but like,
It feels inconsistent.
but like, I don't know. Like, uh, I don't know what other thing what I guess I would fall under. I guess other than anarchist. Yeah,
I feel like you fall under confused as an ideology.
anarcho confused. Yeah, anarcho confused though.
Yeah. I mean, to me personally, I feel like I don't expect you to agree with me or like change your opinion right now in the second. I feel like you're probably going to do some alterations after the live is over, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, probably.
But I think that like the primary thing that is probably important is um, being utilitarian. You know what I mean? Like being less concerned with like how ethical it feels to you and more concerned with the outcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I think you are concerned more with who has the power to do something than you are with what happens to the people who have no power.
yeah.
Like for me personally, like I don't really care if like a homophobe thinks that like I'm an authoritarian communist that's telling them what to do if I don't let them discriminate against gay people.
Well,
I'm
well,
not concerned with how they feel about it. I'm concerned with the person who is being oppressed. You know what I mean?
yeah.
To me, at least, I think you can be a communist and still liking to go in the woods, still wanting to live in the woods in a more, I guess, extremely traditionalist lifestyle. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't think that there is a single communist country that has ever not allowed that. But
Maybe.
there are capitalist countries that don't allow that because they privatize all the land and they don't let you live on land unless you own it.
Yeah, sadly.
So like to me at least, it feels like more concerned with the like you're more concerned with the aesthetics and with like the existence of power and not with who wields it. You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
that's like one of the things that like a lot of anarchists don't like misunderstand about authority and power, right? Is that any ideology, like any individual who wants everybody else to do something the way that their mind has, thought of it, right? Like they're an authoritarian. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like as much as like an anarcho-primitivist wants to deny it, like they can't be an anarchist without having the hierarchy and authority in which to create a primitivist society.